Welcome to That Happened Here. In this episode, we're talking about the Tansill family and how the Marlboro Man has ties to a small farm off of Spriggs Road. Robert Tansill was born in 1812 in Prince William County. He enlisted in the U.S. Marine Corps in 1833 and saw action in the Second Seminole War in 1842, the Mexican-American War in 1847, and with Commodore Matthew Perry's mission in Japan in 1854. In 1843, he married Frances Ann Fanny Weems, whose grandfather was the infamous Parson Mason Locke Weems, the first biographer of George Washington. He created the myth, among other legends, about George and the cherry tree. Their only child together was Robert Weems Tansill, and Fanny died in 1846. The elder Tansill married again in 1849 and had several children with Anna Lucinda Bender. When the Civil War erupted, Tansill resigned his commission in the Marine Corps and eventually served as a colonel on the staff of General William Whiting, serving in the Confederate defense of Wilmington, North Carolina. During the Civil War, his only child with Fanny was sent by his maternal grandparents in Illinois. There, Robert became, as the Chicago Tribune called him, the pioneer of the advertised cigar. He manufactured Tansill's Punch, a 5-cent cigar, and advertised it extensively and in many different forms. As his obituary in 1902 stated, until his advent into the field, the published merits of a cigar, blazoned on billboards or mentioned in the advertising columns of a newspaper, was an unknown thing. Apparently, he was the grandfather of Joe Camel and the Marlboro Man. Colonel Tansill returned to Prince William County after the war and briefly was involved in local politics. When he died in Alexandria in 1890, he was buried at the old farm in Woodbridge alongside Fanny, despite the fact that they had died 46 years apart and he had remarried. His sister was the executor of his estate, and she reportedly said, "Fanny is out in the woods by herself. Bury him next to her." The graveyard is now in the midst of the Yules Mill development off of Spriggs Road.